I should have my computer up and running next time. I didn't even know I was having problems, but thank you for staying there. Thanks for still being here. I appreciate you all still being here. And you're about to see a different angle of my house. Haha. Oh, I see that you guys have been chatting to each other about the experiment without me. I wasn't even here. I don't even know what you guys are talking about, but I'm sure you are taking care of each other just fine. That is super, super cool. So I'm gonna grab my crayons from outside. Oh, you guys, I highly suggest you put your crayons outside today because it's a hot day. It's a hot, hot day. So, as you can all see on here, ooh, excuse me. As you can all see on here, there's some perspiration on my crayons, and they're actually pretty ready to go. So the sound is about to get pretty awful for a little bit because I've got to turn my hairdryer on. But I'll be here with you, and I'll be showing as much as I can. This is a lot of what you're going to be doing. You're going to be doing a lot of sitting here and waiting. Sit and wait. But as you can see, I'm already getting some color. Yep, you can already see it. I'm getting some color. Now, I do have to be careful about what angle I'm putting this at because it's going to go dripping down that way. Sorry, I should turn this off. I said I have to be careful about what angle I'm shooting this at because I have to be careful about what way that it's going to be dripping down. If I want to make certain strokes or certain shapes happen, I've got to use the hairdryer to blow it that specific direction. So let's see. We're gonna keep going. And what I like to do is to go from a high angle down and put it at a bit of a 45. You don't want to go straight 180. You don't want to go straight to the ground unless you've got something catching underneath you, because the crayons will melt onto your floor. And I don't know about you guys, but picking up wax is not my forte. And if you actually melt your crayons directly down, if you give them a straight 180 degree, excuse me, then the wax will fall off of the board and not actually onto the board, which is what we're wanting here. And you want to go as high as you can on your hair dryer. So as you can see, I'm already, there's some splashing happening. Everywhere splashing. But I can direct that with my heat. With my heat gun, or my hair dryer, I can blow the wax in any direction I want it to go. And you can actually see it right here. Woohoo! Here we go, baby. Let's make art. Yes, the patterns change. That's right. And they're melding into each other. Or they don't have to. It's all up to you. This is so creative. And you can see more of it. Woo! There we go. It's happening slowly but surely. It was a hot day today, so you can see these crayons melt a little better than they usually do. When I did this during cold weather, it was awful. It was not fun. I couldn't get the crayons to melt the way I wanted them to at all. It was awful. Ah, yes, the pro tip is to pre-melt them. That is the pro tip. If you do not, it becomes increasingly difficult. So hard for you to make this happen if you don't pre-melt your crayons. Oops, I'm sorry, I think I heard a pop. But let me show you what I got. Look at that, look how cool that is. You can actually still see some of the wax melting itself. But that's part of my painting so far. And these streaks that are not going exactly all the way down, they were created by using the hairdryer in different angles to create this specific look that I've got going on right here. And as you can see, it's drying a little bit at the bottom, and that's why we're getting those like lovely little drops right there. So I'm actually gonna hold it up like this because I wanna keep those drops. I wanna keep them and dry them. So an easy way using your hair dryer to cool something down very quickly that you want to is that most hair dryers should have a cool button. Cool button. My cool button's right here. So I turn it on, hit the cold button, hit it against my arm until it feels cool, and then I'll start cooling down my crayons if that's what I want to do for this particular layer. This layer I want to keep, so I'm cooling it down so that it dries and that it doesn't melt again. And then back to the heat. And my friends, take this time to explore. Explore different ways to melt it. Explore melting and stopping. Explore directional crayons. Oh wow, you can see that whole crayon top came off completely. It's on my floor now. But say for instance, say for instance, I really like this pattern that's happening right now. I really do actually. So I'm gonna cool it so that it dries. So I have my very basic crayon melted painting right here. And as you can see, there are some colors that didn't want to melt as much as the others, and then you're seeing some like right up here that really attacked that heat gun. Versus this pink crayon, I believe this is like, the pink crayon is something that you can find in the dollar store. And as I said before, those dollar store crayons sometimes cause issues, which would be that there's more wax coming out, because I can see the wax coming out from underneath the crayon. You can see it too right there, but no actual color, like the color pink isn't coming through. Same thing for this green. This green was a dollar store crayon, I'm pretty sure, because of the way that you can see that the green right here isn't as potent as some of the traditional Crayola or Rose Art crayons are. So I have this so far. This is just the beginning. So I've created some cool patterns on here for myself. I can feel that there's layers. Like if you actually touch your crayon painting and it comes in and it has thicker layers, you can actually even rub some color off. Crazy, right? Ooh, I like that comment about using different heat sources. Yes, so different heat sources will react to the crayons differently, and they're going to either melt slower or more intensely or anything. That's going to show up on here as well for everyone. And yes, Justin, I did have the assorted Rose Art supplies, the one with the crayon sharpener, because you best believe I was that girl in class because I needed to be that girl in class. Oh, and the travel kit, yeah, me too. It came with like a pair of scissors and a ruler and oil pastels and markers and paint inside there. I had those. I had those for car trips. So I'm gonna take you over to my art station with me so we can finish this baby up. But as you can see, I did put a piece of paper underneath that I needed. It helped a lot. And be careful. I will show you a little bit of what happened to my space, but be careful of like when you're blowing the wax, because as you can see, I accidentally blew it all over my furniture and on my floors. Good times indeed. Oops. So I'm going to take my crayons and come back. Ooh. Oh my. Yeah, if you are going to use a heat gun, please listen to Andy and Ian. Please have an adult with you when using a heat gun. They are extremely, extremely powerful machines. And the last thing I would want to happen to one of you during this very fun activity is for you to get hurt. So yes, whenever you're using a heat gun or even the glue gun, like I said before, please ask your parents for permission. And for their supervision, so that you don't get hurt, because that's the last thing that we would want in this situation in particular. It would make us all super, super duper sad. I'm just making sure that my phone doesn't die on you as well, everyone. Thank you again for being so willing and easy with me this morning. I really appreciate it. And by next week, I will have my full stream up and going with all of our new tech. I promise. So I'm back in my art space, and I need to move things out of my way. And I have my lovely crayon drawing right here, or crayon art. And I'm going to be using different mediums on it to make what I want to happen. Ooh, little heat gun burn. It's okay. It's all right. I'm fine. Okay. So we are here. We are back. Oh, sorry, I forgot that it likes the horizontal view, not the vertical view. All right. And what's actually kind of cool, and I hope you can see it, is that some of the crayons actually have like fully melted from their paper wrapper containers. That one, this one right here, and they're actually kind of sticky. Sticky. And that's okay, it's just wax, it's just beeswax, my friends. And that's why bees are important, and we should help out our bee friends, because we can't have crayons without them. What would our lives be without crayons? I don't know, I use them a lot. So I've got my crayon painting right here, and I'm going to go sketch on top of it. Now this isn't part of the activity itself in our playbook. I'm just adding something on top because I like a little bit something different. I want to add some shapes and people in there. So often, because this is wood, you can start sketching with a pencil of any kind that you like or have in your home. But because I'm fancy and because I'm particular like that, I have art pens. These are just specific drawing pens. I like to use this particular brand. Oop, there we go. Look at that beauty makeup hand. Look at that beauty blogger hand. This is the kind that I use. It has a big felt tip at the top, as you can see, and then a skinny tip at the bottom for more detail work. And they come in all different colors and sizes. All different colors. And I find that with my particular art style, if you are more of an inker or a sketcher, they work great for that. So I think I'm going to start with a gray. I don't know where I'm going with this. I'm going to just feel inspired. Let's see. What does this make us think of in the shape that it's in? What shape should I put in here? Well, it seems like there should be something happening here, right? And it looks like there might be extra rain coming over. So this kind of looks like legs or trees to me, if we want to do that. But I don't think that's the angle that I want to go for this. I think instead what I'm going to do with using that particular shape that I've created here, I think instead I'm going to try to get I think I'm gonna try to draw somebody here with an umbrella, and all of this water is coming off of them. So let's see what I can do to make that show. So I've started with an umbrella look, and because the colored water is coming out on top, I'm not drawing the full umbrella. You cannot see it in all of its glory, as you can see right here. I have connected some lines like that, so that it gives the perspective that the water is running on top. Ooh, that's true. If you turn it around, it does look like flowers. I love that. Oh, now I wish I'd done it this way because this looks super cool too. But that's the great thing about creating this unexpected art in your house for yourself, is that it's incredible. It's amazing. So I'm going to draw a bit of a stem, because umbrellas have those stems, right? They have the centerpiece that you need. Okay, so I've got the outline of my umbrella and my stalk. And if we're going to draw this person proportionally, and I'm probably going to do a back head view because I don't really have much time to add too much detail right now. And I just want something fast and, not furious, but fast and fantastic. So I drew the back of a woman's head right here with hair. So a lady holding an umbrella, and the umbrella is pouring off all of these cool colors, and they puddle right down here. It's kind of cool, huh? And then, since Stark's on it gave me that great idea, why don't we try that with the other side with the hot colors, trying to draw them as flowers. Huh? Let's see what we can do. Ooh, and just so you know, I am touching my crayons right now while I'm doing this, and I just noticed they are still really warm and hot. They're still retaining a lot of heat. By the way, that means that it is I think it's a conductor. I think that's correct, that it holds heat. Please correct me if I'm wrong. So let's see, how would I incorporate that into looking like a flower? Let's try here. I will say this, it is hard to draw on the melted wax itself. It's not impossible, it's just harder, and you're gonna see it a little bit here with my flower that I just lightly drew the outline of. So as you can see right there, I did draw on the crayon itself, but it doesn't look as good as you can see here where I don't draw on it at all and make it just a part of its own piece. Which is super, super, super fun. Let me just check the time real quick to make sure I'm on schedule for everyone, since my usual clock is out of commission. Oh boy. Okay, cool. So we will do a wrap up right now of the activity that we did this morning, everyone. So, what did we do today? Well, what we did is we created this beautiful, very unique, always never to be repeated crayon painting. That's right, and today we explored the differences between physical changes and chemical changes, and this was more of an example of a physical change, because when you heat up the crayons and they melt and turn into a different state of matter, a liquid instead of a solid, it's still a crayon. Essentially at the molecular level, or the what it's made out of, you haven't changed it at all. And that is what signifies a chemical change, is when you actually take the little bitty parts that makes up the whole picture. So for instance, if I was going to use this picture, for instance, if I were to change these crayons out for oil pastels, that would be a metaphor for a chemical change, because the oil pastels are not made the same way as a crayon is. It's completely different on the inside. But when you are melting a crayon or melting an oil pastel, you are not doing a chemical change. You are creating a physical change, because it is only changing what the item looks like, not what it is actually made of. So that's what we're exploring here, and see if you can explore more ways of playing with physical changes, and see if there is an experiment you can do at home that explores a chemical change that you can do safely. One that you might have already in your garage that you can see is if you have any pipes of some kind and you see rust, which is that brown kind of tanny stuff that looks kind of like crunchy on the outside of a pipe. Rust is a chemical change, because that is a chemical component working with a substance has been mixed with the iron, and in turn those two mixtures coming together creates what we know as rust. Just an example. I would say whenever you're baking, that's another good way of seeing things, like yeast. For example, whenever you see yeast expand and have to eat all the flour and water that you put inside that, that's a chemical change. It is, because the chemicals inside the other ingredients are being molded into the yeast itself for bread. So there we go, my friends. In order to create your melted crayon painting, what you're going to need are the crayons themselves. Please keep in mind that dollar store crayons have a little bit more wax than they do have color inside, just like our pink crayon friend right over here. So you will see a lot of wax has melted, but no color transferred. So please keep that in mind if you are using those products, that the colors may not be as vibrant as you want them to be, like a Crayola or a Rose Art would give you. You will also need a hot glue gun so that you can glue these crayons onto the image itself, whatever you're using as a canvas. If you are concerned about the hot glue melting, it did not when I heated everything up on here, just so you know, because it has a higher melting point than the crayon itself. So they stayed on here. I didn't have any problems with things wiggling. If you're concerned about that, please use super glue. I think that will work, or whatever else you have around at home that you will believe will make it work. I don't think Scotch tape is going to do you much good, because I believe the heat and the way that it's placed on here, it'll hit the heat first, versus the glue gun is on the glue in the glue gun is on the very back of the crayon, so you have to hit through all the crayon first and melt that before it gets to heating up the actual hot glue itself. I'm sorry, that was a lot of words. And then of course the canvas that you need to put it on. And then all you do is you glue your crayons in the order that you want them to be in, as in like the colors you want them to melt in next to each other. And please keep in mind, as you can see here, some colors will melt into each other and it might just seem like one full color, one of the same color all the way across the board. Excuse me. And then once you have your colors and glued on here, you will leave it out in the sun from anywhere from 5 minutes, because that's how long I put it out there and it was working great. 5 minutes to an hour in the sun. I would say because the sun is hot today, probably not an hour. You might end up having just melted crayons on your canvas versus having the control over it. So for today, for a hot day, I would say anywhere between 5 to 20 minutes, you're probably gonna be great. But on a cold day, you're gonna need an hour at least to get these softened. Once you have softened your crayons, you can then get your heat gun or your hair dryer, and on its highest heat setting, that is what I suggest, you can start putting the heat source towards your crayons. Now make sure that it's not at a direct angle like this up and down, because it will drip off on the bottom, as you can see here, and it might puddle on the ground where you don't want it to be. And it also, when you have it this way, it might not even hit on the wood. The melted crayon might fly somewhere else, so keep that in mind. But once you do that, then it is up to you how you finish this cardboard or canvas crayon painting. But that is it, my friends. That's it from me. You did another playful learning with us today, and today we had the awesome ability to explore how art works with the other concepts of STEAM. And that's why we say it's so important here, because it gives you a level of critical thinking that is different than if you typically were to just iterate what you learn in school. So there's that. So thank you so much for joining us, you guys. Thank you for your perseverance with me in the face of technical difficulties. I feel so woefully unprepared, and I feel like I gave you guys a bad time. So thank you for your perseverance and for staying with me. I appreciate all of you. Hearts to everyone. Hearts, 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 hearts. If I could throw them at you, I would, because you have been an audience that has been so supportive, and that makes my job much easier. So thank you again for joining us on our playful learning stream. If you like anything that we do here, the kit is available on our website, www.2bitcircus.org. You can find our kits on there, and we can also provide any other information that you might need. Tomorrow we'll be back again with metal etching with Evelyn at